Okay, we're back for part 2. We got the candied oranges going. Let me turn you around. All right, so this was 1 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar. This is 3 oranges, the peels of 3 oranges. Remember, I showed you get all the pith off of them. And then we cut them down into nice strips because we're going to use these as garnish. Now, they're edible, but I want them to, you want to be able to see them. So it basically said just do the sugar water, put your orange peels in there, bring it up to a light boil, small simmer. So I've now got it down to like 2, and then put your timer on for 20 minutes. When the timer's done, we're going to turn it off, remove them, and let them sit in there for about 10 to 15 minutes. We want to make sure we keep the... Chicky, what are you doing? Huh? Did you want to say hi? Hey, sweet boy. This is Chicky Sam. He doesn't come out a whole lot, but every now and then he wants a lot of love. He's my real sweet boy. Anyway, we want to keep these oranges a vibrant color. We don't want them turning brown or off. So that's the reason we're doing them kind of quickly. And since it's very thin and there's no pith, this should work out. Now, I'm making more than I need, so I'm hoping these should stay until I make the other cake in February, because we'll dehydrate them. So you can come back when these are done. All right, we're going to go ahead and make the bourbon soak. So this is about 1/2 cup of warm water. I put in 1/2 cup of regular sugar, and then I put a tablespoon of brown sugar because I can, and that's my business. This is the bourbon that I decided to get. I've had this in my house before, and this is a good middle-of-the-road bourbon. It's not cheap. It's not expensive. It's a nice middle-of-the-road, and it has a decent flavor. So it's saying to add about 2 tablespoons in there, which is exactly what I'm going to do. All right, I can tell you 2 tablespoons is absolutely enough because that's all I smell is bourbon. I decided to take one of the oranges and just muddled it into that because I wanted the orange, but I didn't really want any more alcohol. And I don't know how that sugar syrup's going to go. It may be bitter. So I've just added oranges into this, and we're just going to let this sit and kind of do its little thing. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the custard that goes in the Russian buttercream. So this is 3/4 cup of condensed sweetened milk, 2 egg yolks, 1 tablespoon of water, and I put a teaspoon of vanilla. It said 1/2 teaspoon, but you do what you want. Basically, we're going to cook this over a low-medium heat. We do not want to boil this until it basically thickens, and then it's done, and we're just going to pull it off to the side, and we're going to let it cool because we don't want to put a hot custard into whipped butter that we're trying to make into a buttercream. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so when it's done, it will come back to the consistency of the sweetened condensed milk before you heated it up. Just be real careful. You don't want to boil it because, again, you don't want to break the eggs. I think the point of this is basically we're cooking the eggs, right, because there's egg yolks in here. So this has to cool down completely, so I'm going to let it cool just a little bit in here, and then I think I'm going to put it in another container and put it off in the refrigerator so that it will cool a little bit quicker. These are just going to sit in that simple syrup for about another 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're going to take them out and we're going to put them on parchment paper and let them do their thing. Now, in the meantime, I have 3 sticks of butter in here, and I'm just going to let these things whip until that butter is nice and fluffy and light colored and all that thing, and that's going to take a while, so we're just going to let that go. All right, so here is the Russian buttercream. Now, I've taken a bit of it out. This is what's going to go in the middle and around the sides, and it wants me to put in 1/4 cup of those roasted walnuts, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, sorry for the noise in the background, but it is what it is. It's 2A stuff, so if you don't like it, you're probably on the wrong channel. Here we go. We have the very first layer. We are going to do our sugar soak. So we're basically just going to do this. Not a whole lot. We don't want it being like super wet, but you want to be able to taste it. Right? I mean, I've seen people drown these things. I'm absolutely not going to do that. Okay. That should be enough. Then we're going to take some of this buttercream and we're going to put it in the middle. which is basically what that is for, okay? I'm going to try to hold on to this because it's not glued down. All right, we're going to soak this one as well and then turn it that way, okay? So I'm going to hold it while we do it. Now I suspect, because this is super spongy like a decoise, that it's just naturally going to be a little bit drier than my cakes, because my cakes are always moist. So we're going to kind of do the thing. Okay. Okay. Now, we're going to turn it around. We're going to do that. We're going to use the rest of that, and we're basically going to cover this, and then we'll get to the top. Hang on. All right, I just put the rest of it in there, and I added the walnuts to the rest of it because I don't care. I would show you this part, but because it's not taped down, the struggle is real with this. So I'm literally having to put my hands on top of the cake and hold it because this thing is just moving all over the place. I've put parchment underneath it because we've got to put walnuts in and around it, so I want to keep it kind of clean. But this is kind of, you know, one of those professional moves that if you don't know any better, you don't know what you don't know. This is why we tape our things down, because there's no cake plate underneath this. There's no cake board, because this is for us. I'm not wasting my cake boards. Those things are expensive. Thank you very much. So I'm not wasting it, basically. It's moving all over the place, so that I've got to use both my hands. Luckily, this is not a cake that we've got to get like perfectly smooth or anything like that, because we're going to cover it in walnuts. Y'all, we're going to cover it in walnuts. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the top of it, and then we'll come back when we're doing the walnut. All right, there is no easy way to do this. You are basically just going to take the walnuts, and you're going to kind of smash them on the cake. There's no clean and easy way to do this other than me putting the parchment paper down here for me to get it out from underneath the cake to keep that board kind of clean. It is what it is, y'all. This is the same thing if you want to do sparkles, sprinkles, sequins, whatever it is that you're doing on the side of the cake like this. This is not a clean thing. Never has been. It just, get over it. It is what it is. We're using a gentle hand. You want to get it all the way up around to the top. Okay? And then once we do that, we'll let it sit for a little bit, and then we'll get rid of the parchment paper up underneath. And then there's still another step, because there's chocolate ganache that goes on the top of this big bad boy. Yeah, hells yeah. So, damn it, there's going to be a part 3. All right, well, come back and you'll see part 3.